A doctor was fired, actually several years ago, from the ER that he oversaw because he dared to question the hospital pushing profits over patient care. Here's the story. And again, this doctor was actually fired, I believe, in 2017. He subsequently sued for wrongful termination and won a $26 million lawsuit against the hospital and, of course, the private equity firms that are gobbling up all of our hospitals. It's estimated right now that about 40% of ERs across the country, actually more than 40%, are staffed by these outside companies that in turn are owned by private equity firms. And their only goal, according to the lawsuit, again, that he won based on the statements that they made to him, was profits. So here's a little bit of the backstory about what happened to this particular doctor. Starting in 2012, when he was hired, he brought up to the people at the hospital, the management, executives, whatever they are, we're understaffed. And because you've doubled the amount of rooms in this hospital, so there's twice as much work, but you didn't hire twice as many doctors to do it. So every time you call a code blue when a patient's heart stops beating or the patient stops breathing, all of my ER doctors are required to go running. And when that happens, of course, there's nobody in the ER. You have to hire a couple more people. He basically said, you have to hire one more. One friggin' doctor. You know what they told him? Can't do it, chief. It's not in the best financial interest of this institution. We got to push that profit motive is effectively what they told him. And he brought this up for years, was pushing for years because patients were being left without care. And eventually he pushed it too many times and they fired him because he didn't seem to fit with the idea that we're in the money-making business, folks. And as I said, ultimately he won a $26 million verdict against them for wrongful termination. But what he brings up and what other doctors interviewed for this bring up is that this is not uncommon. This is apparently a thing that is happening all across the country and has been for many years now. When doctors bring up that this hospital that is now owned, partially by these private equity firms, all they care about is profit, patient safety diminishes. People die in your never-ending quest for profits. Profit-driven healthcare kills Americans. That's the takeaway here. That's what's happening in this country. Our for-profit healthcare system is killing people. And if you work in the medical field and you dare bring this up, you run the risk of getting fired. So we have doctors watching this happen, but afraid to speak out because they could lose their jobs. And what happens, by the way, when they lose their jobs? The hospital just lost a staffer in an already understaffed ER. So when they get fired, if there's not immediately a doctor to come in and take over the rest of that shift and the rest of them from then on, people suffer. But the hospital saves money. They still make as much money because they don't have fewer people coming in the door. They just don't have to pay that doctor's salary anymore. This system doesn't need to be reformed. It needs to be destroyed. It needs to be torn down and rebuilt. The profit motive in American medicine needs to be taken out completely, 100%, without a question. But unfortunately, we're actually going in the opposite direction. We're allowing private equity firms, we're allowing massive hospital corporations to come in and gobble up all these small hospitals, local hospitals, whatever it is. I guarantee you, where you live, your hospital's been captured by a larger for-profit company. And we're just letting it happen. Well, not we, our government. State governments, federal government, they're letting it happen. They don't care. They got great healthcare coverage. Us, on the other hand, not so much. And if you're unfortunate enough to live in one of these areas that these doctors are raising the alarm bells about, where there's not enough doctors to go around, well, then you'd better pray that you or a loved one never have a medical emergency, because there's a good chance you could die because there's nobody there to take care of you. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you saw, don't forget to like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe to our Ring of Fire channel here.